The movie starts with a man named Steve telling his story. When Steve was a little boy in the 1980s, he really wanted to go into the mines, but kids weren't allowed there. When he grew up, he quit his boring job and finally went to explore the mines. Inside, he found a powerful object called the Orb of Dominance and something called the Earth Crystal. When he put them together, he was taken to a new world called the Overworld. In this new place, he could build his own house using materials he found. He also made a new best friend, a wolf named Dennis, who stayed by his side and helped him. One day, while exploring, Steve accidentally found a strange and dangerous place called the Nether. The Nether is part of the Overworld, but it's a dark and scary place where mean creatures called piglins live. The piglins are led by a cruel and powerful sorceress named Malgosia. A long time ago, Malgosia wanted to be a performer, like a singer or dancer, but her father and the other piglins laughed at her and crushed her dreams. This made her very angry and bitter, so she decided to become evil. Malgosia steals the powerful orb from Steve and makes a plan to use it to cover the overworld in darkness forever. She wants to do this because piglins can't survive in the sunlight. They can only live in the dark. Steve and his wolf friend Dennis manage to steal the orb back from her. Then, to keep it safe, Steve sends Dennis to escape into the real world with both the orb and the Earth Crystal, so the piglins can't get them. In the present time, we meet a man named Garrett Garrison, who is also known as the Garbage Man. He used to be a famous video game champion, but now he runs a small store that sells old, nostalgic items from the past. Garrett still thinks a lot about his past success, but in reality, his life isn't going well. He might even lose his store because he can't pay the rent. One day, Garrett goes to a storage auction held by his friend Daryl. He hopes to buy an old video game system called the Atari Cosmos, which he thinks could be worth a lot of money and help him fix his problems. But when he opens the box he wins, he doesn't find the game console. Instead, he finds the strange-looking orb and crystal. Garrett gets really upset and has a breakdown in front of everyone at the auction because he feels like nothing is going right for him. A young woman named Natalie moves to a small town called Chuglass in Idaho with her younger brother Henry. Their mother has recently passed away, and they're trying to start fresh in a new place. Natalie gets a job at the local potato chip factory, where she works on the company's social media, taking photos and making posts online. And meanwhile, Henry begins going to a new school. On his first day, Henry meets the school's vice principal, Marlene, and then heads to class. He tries to show off a jetpack model that he built himself, hoping to impress people, but two mean kids secretly cut one of the wires, and the jetpack goes out of control. It flies around and ends up crashing into Chuggy, the town's mascot, causing a big mess. Scared and not knowing what to do, Henry calls Garrett, who he had met earlier that day. Garrett agrees to help and pretends to be Henry's uncle for $26. He takes Henry back to his shop. While they're there, they find the strange orb and the Earth Crystal, along with a note left by Steve. The note warns not to use the orb for greedy reasons because it could lead to danger. Even with the warning, Henry puts the orb inside the crystal. Right away, something strange happens. It starts pulling Henry and Garrett toward the mines outside of town. At the same time, Natalie contacts a woman named Dawn, who is both the real estate agent who sold her their new house and the owner of a mobile petting zoo. Natalie and Dawn go looking for Henry and Garrett and find them at the entrance of the mines. A mysterious wolf named Dennis is watching from a distance. Suddenly, a magical portal opens. It's the doorway to the overworld. Henry, Garrett, Natalie, and Dawn are all pulled into the portal and disappear into the other world. Back in the Nether, Malgosia and the piglins find out that the orb has returned. This gives Steve a chance to escape from them and leave the Nether. Meanwhile, in the overworld, Henry, Garrett, Natalie, and Dawn are amazed by how strange and beautiful the place looks. But things change quickly. Night falls, and they are suddenly attacked by scary skeletons and zombies. Henry quickly learns how to build things in the overworld, and he creates a strong shelter to protect everyone and get them to a safer, higher place. Steve arrives just in time to help them fight the monsters. But during the battle, Garrett accidentally breaks the Earth Crystal, the only thing they had that could help them return home. They're now stuck in the overworld. When the sun rises, the skeletons and zombies burn in the daylight and disappear. Steve tells the group that all is not lost. There's still hope. They can replace the Earth Crystal, but to do that, they must travel to a dangerous place called the Woodland Mansion. The journey won't be easy. Steve becomes their guide, showing them around the overworld. He takes them to a peaceful village and shows them how fun and simple it is to build things there. But their adventure is interrupted when the piglins show up, led by a silly but strong leader named General Chungus. A battle breaks out. During the fight, the group gets split up. Steve, Garrett, and Henry go one way, while Natalie and Dawn end up on their own. The guys manage to escape from the piglins, while Natalie and Dawn team up, grow closer as friends, and bravely fight off enemies. Along the way, they find Dennis the Wolf, who helps them find Steve again. Meanwhile, General Chungus returns to Malegosia, but she's furious that he failed. So she punishes him by having him executed. Then she sends her most dangerous creation, the Great Hog, to go after the heroes and stop them for good. Steve, Garrett, and Henry go into a deep cave. Garrett is still hoping to find treasure, so he asks Steve to show him where all the riches in the overworld are hidden. Steve agrees and takes them to the diamond mines. But Henry isn't happy. He sees that Garrett only cares about getting rich and is being greedy. While they're in the cave, they are suddenly attacked by the Great Hog, the giant creature sent by Malegosia. The three of them jump into a minecart to escape. As they ride through the tunnels, they run into creepers, green creatures that explode when they get too close. The group tricks the creepers into blowing up near the Great Hog. The explosion is huge, and the Great Hog is destroyed, allowing the guys to escape safely. Back in the real world, a silly villager named Nitwit accidentally wanders out of the overworld and gets lost. He ends up getting hit by a car driven by Vice Principal Marlene. She doesn't realize he's from another world and takes him to dinner. Even though Nitwit can't speak English, Marlene starts to like him and even begins to fall in love with him. Meanwhile, Steve, Garrett, and Henry finally reach the Woodland Mansion, a spooky and mysterious place. Steve and Garrett create a distraction so that Henry can sneak inside and search for the New Earth crystal. While exploring, Henry is found by an Enderman, a tall, creepy creature that can teleport. The Enderman tries to mess with Henry's mind by showing him fake images of Steve, Garrett, and Natalie saying hurtful things about him. It tries to make Henry feel like he doesn't belong. At the same time, Steve and Garrett have their own fight. They have to battle a small Frankenstein-looking monster riding a chicken. Back inside, Henry gathers his courage and uses his sword to fight the Enderman. After a tough battle, he defeats it. As a reward, the Enderman drops something called an Ender Pearl, a magical item that lets a person teleport to wherever they throw it. As the heroes are trying to leave the Woodland Mansion, Malegosia and her army of piglins find them. She manages to take back the powerful orb. While the other piglins attack the group, Steve and Henry jump onto a hot air balloon to escape, but Garrett stays behind to fight the piglins. During the fight, a bunch of TNT explodes and blows up the bridge Garrett is on. It looks like Garrett is killed in the explosion. Steve and Henry are blown away in the balloon and crash somewhere far away. Later, Steve and Henry wake up and realize they were rescued by Dawn, Natalie, and Dennis the Wolf. They are sad and heartbroken about losing Garrett, but they know they must keep going. They start planning how to stop Malegosia. She is now using the orb to spread darkness all across the overworld. Because of the darkness, monsters can come out and attack at any time, even during what should be daytime. The heroes decide to fight back. They lead an army of big, strong creatures called Iron Golems to battle against Malegosia and the piglins. While the battle is going on, Henry tries to climb up her tall tower to get the orb back, but Malegosia spots him and shoots at the tower, causing Henry to fall. Just in time, Garrett shows up. He survived the explosion and comes flying in with his hot air balloon to save Henry. Together, the team works to destroy Malgosia's tower and take back the orb. Once they have it, the monsters that were attacking begin to melt and disappear. Malegosia, now desperate, tries 2 more times to sneak up and attack Steve, but both times she fails. Eventually, she collapses and dies for good. With the battle over, the portal to the real world opens again. The heroes prepare to go home. Steve says goodbye, but tells them he wants to stay in the overworld because he doesn't think he belongs in the real world anymore. But Natalie reminds him that maybe the real world needs someone like him. Maybe he has something special to offer. Hearing that, Steve changes his mind and decides to go with them. At the end of the movie, Steve talks about what happened to all the heroes after their big adventure. Thanks to Steve's help, Garrett was able to save his store from closing down. He even created a brand new arcade game based on their journey, and now all the kids in town love playing it. It became a big hit. Dawn started using Dennis the Wolf and other animals from the overworld to make her mobile petting zoo more fun and exciting. Her business is doing really well now. Natalie began teaching a self-defense class for kids. She shows them how to protect themselves using the skills she learned during their time in the overworld. Henry fixed up the jetpack he built earlier, and now that it works properly, he's become popular at his new school. The other kids really like him. To celebrate everything they've been through, Steve and all the heroes gather at Garrett's store to have a big party. In mid-credits scene, we see Marlene happily announcing that she is engaged to Nitwit, the villager who wandered into into the real world. Then her ex-husband, who is also Henry's schoolteacher, shows up. Right then, Nitwit suddenly starts speaking for the first time. He says that his love for Marlene is so strong, it helped him break through the language barrier, and now he can talk. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.